Hello there and a very warm welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I am Victor Matthias. Now, over the years, the country has seen its wealth withered with little to show in living conditions of the average human being. This could have been the reason behind why President Muhammadu Buhari promised Nigerians that he will be fighting corruption to the best of his ability if voted into office. Over a year gone in his administration, how much has he achieved in this fight? Before we find answers to this question, we will take a moment to see what the trending topics were in the past week. Roger Federer and Serena Williams rewrote history books to clinch record number of Grand Slams with their victories in the Australian Open. While Federer beat arch-rival Rafael Nadal to clinch his 18th title, Serena had to beat her sister Venus to claim 23rd Grand Slam singles title. Southern part of Kaduna continues to make the headlines, albeit for the wrong reasons, as the stories of alleged clashes between herdsmen and indigents of the region continue to come on through the social media. Well, there you go. Those were the trends in the past week. However, let's get some answers on how well the Buhari administration has done in fighting corruption. And we're joined by our online contributors via a Google Plus Hangout.
Fight against corruption shouldn't be a political promise. It is supposed to be the responsibility of the government of the day. However, in time past, we've had the opposite. And so in my own opinion, I ought to see a government making sure that the institutions that are responsible for fight against corruption are doing their job very well. Not the president as the number one citizen of this country fighting against corruption, because I feel corruption fights should be institutional. And so it's beginning to look like a political battle. That's why we have this back and forth thing between the Senate and the executive, because it is of a popular opinion that the Senate is a place where we have most of these alleged and corrupt politicians. And so in that case, it's beginning to look like the president is attacking them, and while they are being on the defensive side. I'll tell you, in terms of rating and in terms of institutional approach, the financial institution has done well. The Ministry of Finance has done well. I'll give a typical example. The fact that they've been able to checkmate ghost workers since the beginning of this administration, and being able to curb excess, spending, and removing all those ghost workers and reducing the spending from the government is an institutional approach to curbing corruption. That's an example.
If you're looking at the fight against corruption that is lopsided, to some extent it is, but to some extent it's not. Like I've always said, if you look at the people, the names pointed out, have any of these people come out to deny that they have not participated in any of this corruption, collecting any of this corruption proceeds? To some extent, you will give it up to the ruling party that most of the people who are indicted or that are indicted in some of the corruption cases are all in PDP, and because PDP was in government. But also we are also saying that, look, we have some APC governors who were also in government in their various states, who in one way or the other, if properly investigated, you will have something against them to charge them to court. But these people have been overlooked. We have some close allies of Mr. President, probably because they are in the same party, so the presidency is not beaming his anti-corruption searchlight on them, and so they are being allowed to go free. We have a lot of governors, like I can say, like the former governor of Nasarawa State. I'm still waiting for the day that man will be investigated. Will be investigated. I'm still hopefully one day he will be. And we have seen a whole lot of them. And so, if you look at the way everything is going, let's start at least from one. We must have to start from a particular point, because someday the APC might not be in government. Another government will be in power. It will also go after them.
This government's anti-corruption work is one-sided. I'm sure a lot of people have thought, like, oh, why is he saying so? But today, it is clear to everyone that it's purely one-sided. I think last week, there was a letter to the Senate clearing the acting EFCC chairman and the SGF of the corruption allegation. 2 days later, the special assistant to the president on legislative affairs, that's Senator Ita Yang, said he was not aware of the letter. It shows that the government's anti-corruption was one-sided and it's not ready to fight corruption the way PDP fought corruption during its time. I remember the other time when I spoke, I said PDP started fighting corruption from its own party. Before they arrested, what's his name? The former IGP, former Bayelsa State governor, that's the late Bayelsa State governor, and a lot of others like that. So they started cleaning Nigeria from their party. So it wasn't easy for Nigerians to tag the corruption war then one-sided. But now look at the APC now. Once they lick any allegation on any APC governor or minister or whoever is in power, they say no, it's an allegation. They can't arrest, they can't do anything. But once it's something, same allegation is made against probably someone from PDP or any other political party, you see the security agencies swinging into action. They go to his house, arrest, and do all the work. So far, so good. President Buhari's corruption war has been lopsided, and I don't think he's ready to fight corruption as he claims. If he's ready, he should start with his SGF, he should start with his chief of staff, and he should start with EFCC chairman.
He mentioned that the PDP started fighting corruption from its own domain. No, it was not those people that the EFCC went after were those people who were against Obasanjo's policy. Go and check. The records are there. These are people who do not agree and buy into the ideology of the former president. So he took on them. He took on the former governor of Abia State, Ojus Okalu. He took on the former governor of Bayelsa State. A whole lot of them, they are there. So these are the president's enemies. He goes after his enemies using the EFCC. Those who are his close friends and allies, he does not touch them. Nobody hears anything about them. It's been there for a long time. So we need to do something about it. Let's streamline the process and make it more professional, and also we will save more cost in fighting this corruption if we can put some form of preventive measures on board.
All right, Seun, let me come to you and get your thoughts as regards what you make of the back and forth by the executive and the legislative arm of government in terms of appointing people that are alleged to be corrupt.
I cannot say 100% that the executive is not doing the right thing. If the Senate rejects the nomination, the executive looks into that report from the Senate within the executive, assigning the right people to do the job, and they get back to the Senate. But if you look at the process that just happened, the person that they're supposed to go through, number one, claims that he doesn't even know about it. Number two, the senator that spoke from Kaduna said that the presidency is not right with their report, which they sent back. So now I'm beginning to ask that, is this a rocket science? Is this something that we cannot get right? Because I do not want to see it as a political game. There are laid down rules of how these things should be done. And so it shouldn't be difficult, except some people are just trying to sabotage it. If the SGF has been alleged of a particular corruption, act, I don't think it's difficult to find that out. If it is looking difficult, then it means that the presidency is hiding something. And I believe that the rules of engagement are there. The processes are there. And if they are not going by the processes, then there's something wrong somewhere.
All right, let's take a look at preventive measures, as you all seem to be perhaps on the same page. Ben, what measure do you think should be placed to prevent corrupt practices from taking place?
Yeah, one of the things I think the presidents have started, they are trying to come up with a bill. The whistleblowing bill is a very good measure to prevent corruption. When you see something, you say something. If you're in a government agency and you see some kind of sharp practice going on, you should be able to speak out. And if you have document, if there's any way you can steal out some document, you get it out to the public so that the public and the press get to know about it and everybody start talking. Because once you start talking, I think things will start happening. And also, secondly, to prevent corruption, the way we appoint our EFCC chairman, we need to put it into consideration. We shouldn't allow the president and the presidency should have the whole power to appoint the EFCC chairman. We should shift the powers of appointing who becomes the EFCC chairman away from the president, so that the president will not have a total control over that institution, because it is when the president have a total control of that institution that he can manipulate and control whoever he wants the agency to go after. He determines who he wants to go after, and who he said don't touch, you don't touch. Who he said go after, you go after. And so this will also help. This will also help us in fighting corruption, so that the fight against corruption will go around. It won't be seen on some particular set of people, or in terms of maybe calling them opposition or political witch hunt, as the case may be.
Well, Michael, you seem adamant about your stance, but yet to give an example of an official of this government that should have been prosecuted or investigated.
I'll give you two examples now. Former Abia State Governor Uzodinma Kalu, the camp from PDP to APC. Now, have you heard anything about his corruption trial? No. Former Plateau State Governor Joshua Dariye, who was always almost every day in court, but since he dumped the PDP and moved to APC, I don't think I've ever written a story about him going to court again. So as long as I'm in my own capacity, to me, I feel this government is fighting corruption based on party. Once you belong to APC, you are cool. Once you belong to PDP, it's an opportunity to score political point and say, okay, we've achieved so and so. But if you want to be sincere, let's start from the chief of staff, from the SGF, and the EFCC acting chairman. Start with three. And of course, we need to add one more now. Former Lagos Governor Obasani Fashola has been indicted by in a report that he inflated some contract I think in last year. So that again, nobody has said anything about it. That has been there, follow. Everybody has been on looking. It's not because Fashola did well in Lagos, but I think it's one major area we should look into, because the former government is handling 3 key ministries: works, power, and housing. So if he can call, if it has been done in a report of inflating contracts in just subsection of the whole ministry, we all know what will have happened. Let's imagine what could have happened in the other 2 sub-ministries.
The president should understand that Nigeria is not about the 3 arms of government alone. Nigeria is more about the people. And we put this government there. At least majority of Nigerians voted for this government. And so we are watching. And if we are watching and we are saying that what we are seeing is not what you told us it would be like, then I think the presidency should look into it, because it is obvious, without sentiment, without holding brief for any arm of the government, without without sentiment, or maybe the senators are only haunting the FCC acting chairman because of their own allegations and all of that. Without all of that, let us put that aside. The obvious is there, that the process is not being followed duly to prosecute the people in the president's cabinet. These allegations are they are strong allegations. They are not little allegations. So I think the president should allow the institution that's supposed to deal with these cases, deal with it rightly. Let it not be like as if it's a fight between the executive and the legislative arm, where they are sending letters back and forth. No, we do not have time for that. 4 years will soon be over. There is a promise and it must be fulfilled. And that's what I'm going to say. We are watching. 2019 will soon come. And that's the thing. Let the fight be 100% what it's supposed to be. and not be lopsided as it is looking.
All right, very well, guys. Thanks for coming on the program and sharing your thoughts. But then we have to leave it here. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be back with more analysis. Stay with us.